Okay, time to start. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending upon which part of the world you're attending this webinar from. Quite a global audience. Okay, thanks to mobile phones, social networks, and e-commerce platforms, today's consumers have more choices at their fingertips than ever before. Simultaneously, the flood of ads, offers, and content has made it even more challenging for companies to stay relevant and truly engage with their consumers. At Tatvic Analytics, we truly believe that by applying real-time marketing personalization, firms can meet the changing needs of their consumers and stay competitive in a growing digital market. Welcoming you all to our today's webinar, the Real-Time Marketing with Pipestream, specifically designed for marketeers, product specialists, and analytics champions in you. Before we begin, a bit about Tatvic Analytics. Headquartered in India with offices across North America, Asia Pacific, and UAE, Tatvic Analytics offers end-to-end data and marketing analytics consulting services and solutions to Fortune 500 customers across the globe. As you would see, our solutions are mapped to the entire data continuum cycle from data collection to data activation. And one of that solution is what we would be walking you through today, which is Pipestream. Our solutions leverage Google tools and infrastructure such as Google Marketing Platform and Google Cloud. And these solutions allow customers and enterprises to scale by leveraging some of our in-house developed frameworks. Some of our partnerships, as you would have guessed it right, yes, we are a full stack Google partner and also have partnerships with world's leading AI and ML platforms such as Dataiku and also Facebook and Amazon DSP. In terms of clients, while we can boast of more than 70 plus customers across the globe, some of those ones which we have recently acquired, as you could see, are ranging from industries such as new age technologies like OTT platform to EdTech platforms to some legacy publishers and of course BFSI industries. So joining me today is my colleague Bismayy, who heads products innovation at Tatvic Analytics. Bismayy's team is instrumental in designing some of the high impact solutions that led to phenomenal customer success with us. Before we begin and I hand it over to Bismayy, few hygienes. As you all would have noticed, you've been asked to keep on mute. However, you can continue to share your questions over the chat or over the questions window on the console, which you guys have accessed this webinar from. You can also continue to engage with us on LinkedIn and post your queries there as well. Now, I shall hand this over to Bismayy. Bismayy, over to you.
Thank you very much, Kaushal, for the warm welcome. Thank you, everybody, for joining in today. We'll keep it short. I will just take a second to show my screen. Just give me a second. Okay. Kaushal, could you please just say yes if the screen is visible?
Yes, it is, Bismayy. Go ahead.
Okay, great. Okay, so I think as Kaushal was mentioning about real-time marketing and real-time personalization, the buzzwords is real-time, right? And to do any of these activities of remarketing or personalization, we need real-time data. So the importance of real-time data is sacrosanct in nature. Let's talk about few big use cases or few use cases where real-time data is actually impactful, like detecting anomalies instantly. As a product manager, when I'm looking at my website, and if let's say there is a landing page of my payment landing page and it's broken, I am actually losing business for every minute that landing page is broken, right? If I'm able to identify that in almost real time, I am able to take some proactive steps and kind of, able to detect that and get it resolved within a short period in time. Let's talk about CX, customer experience personalization. We all know that out of 100 people who visit our website, only 2% of them convert, right? So how do we persuade the rest 98% while they're still on the website. To do that, you need to have access to some real-time raw data of the users, where you can then persuade them with either 6 principles of persuasion, or based on the propensity of the user to convert. If somebody is on the add to cart page, or if somebody is already on the form page, right? How can we personalize the experience by exit intent pop-ups or webinar or banners and similar tactics. And last but not the least, agile business decisions. If you're a CBO and you're looking at performance dashboards of your marketing campaigns, of paid campaigns, versus if you're looking at something like a product development roadmaps of your website, or your analytics like page load time and the error that I talked about, 404 errors, right? Those kind of decision making needs to be empowered with real-time data available to you at all points in time. Let's take a quick example of a booking company who sells flight seats for that particular date, or hotel rooms for that particular date. Now, this is where the inventory is actually perishable by the end of the day. So the advertiser, the marketer, the analyst needs to be up on their feet with actual real data at their disposal, so that they can take any quick decision whether they want to market aggressively, or they want to reduce the budget of their campaigns according to what inventory or how much inventory is available to them by the end of that particular hour or particular minute, right? So now that I think we have set the premise that real-time data is actually important, how do we collect and activate real-time data? That's a big question. So introducing Pipestream to do that. What is Pipestream? In short, it's a real-time data connector that relays raw data from your website to Google BigQuery. Now, what is Google BigQuery? It is like a data warehouse which is scalable and secured in nature, where you can store all your data dumps and you can sleep peacefully, right? We are saying that there is a data connector which is available, which can relay raw data from your website, and you can make it available in BigQuery or a data warehouse in less than 60 seconds, just like an ETL connector.
Hey, wait, Bismayy, you just mentioned the term ETL connector. Can you describe what is an ETL and how is Pipestream better than ETL or different than ETL?
Yes, definitely. So let's take a step back now to answer Kaushal's question. What is an ETL connector? So I think a couple of you would already be knowing what is an ETL connector. When we talk about ETL connector, there is a data source, there is a data destination. Now, a data source can be something like a Google Analytics, and a data destination can be something like BigQuery or Google AdWords, right? So there is an ETL connector which is available. There are a lot of third-party ETL connectors that are available, where you can fetch data from Google Analytics and you can store that and push it into a data destination like Google AdWords. Now, this, when it is done at an enterprise level, when frequency of the data extraction is at stake, the access to that particular data, the security, and and also the scalability of that data pipeline. At that point in time, we depend on something like an ETL connector. So obviously, how does an ETL help businesses when you are handling so much big data, moving from multiple sources to multiple destinations? We need ATL connectors to provide a visualization of our business performance in terms of marketing dashboards, product analytics dashboards. We can also do a lot of BI stuff on top of that particular ETL connectors, data storage, like user profiling or cleaning of data or transformation. And last but not the least, in terms of impact performance analysis. What is this? Basically, when we're talking about business decisions, earlier on the slides, we were talking about how a particular set of data points that you capture in your Google Analytics and send it via an ETL, you can make best use of it, either in terms of your marketing campaigns or in terms of your A/B test experiments and the like. So how is Pipestream better? To come back to Kaushal's question again, like there are a lot of ETL connectors that are available. Now, how Pipestream comes better? if you talk about an ETL connector, let's say where we are considering Google Analytics as the primary analytics platform where you're storing and basically collecting data from your website users, right? And then sending it to any other data destination, it is dependent on the source platform's API quotas and the data refresh frequencies and the limitation of the size of how much data can be pulled in at one, in one query, right? So all these API limitations are in place because the source platform's API has restricted that usage. Now ETL connectors have to abide by those to send in data from X to Y. But what's the best part then? For Pipestream, we are not dependent on any of the source platforms APIs. We directly take it from the website itself. So there are no platform API limitations for us, and that's how we are way faster than it. We don't take 24 to 48 hours. We can actually do it in less than 60 seconds, and that's our promise. And that's what we are going to showcase in some brief period of time. So let's go back a little and try to understand how the Pipestream magic happens, right? Let's take an example of user journey. Kaushal is here today, so let's say that Kaushal visits Tatvic's website, right? So that's the first time the user is landing on my website, and Kaushal then clicks on more products button on my website where they are looking at multiple products, and they click on a particular button or a navigation menu option on my website. This is an event which gets triggered, and that data gets stored into Google Analytics. Obviously, there's a piece of heavy code that is written in Google on your website source code, which fetches the data and sends it to Google Analytics. Now, if there is an ETL connector, there are a lot of ETL data connectors that are available in the market. That data connector or that ETL connector would be able to fetch the data using Google Analytics APIs and send it to something like BigQuery, right? Now, this can range anywhere from 24 to 48 hours because of the limitations that we mentioned. So this is how the current workflow looks like. What about the new workflow when we have Pipestream as a weapon? The similar 1 and 2 events like visiting Kaushal visiting my website and Kaushal clicking on some products, that stays the same, but Pipestream basically acts as one of the interconnectors now. Even before that particular event gets relayed into Google Analytics, Pipestream is able to intercept that relay, right? Pipestream fetches that data directly and pushes it into the Google BigQuery instantly in less than 60 seconds.
This is interesting. So what are the platforms and accesses one would require, Bismayy, to get started with Pipestream?
Yeah, that's a very fine question, and I would want to answer that with this particular slide, where we have mentioned that the data source is not actually Google Analytics, it is your website. You need to just have Google Analytics tracking in place, while website becomes the data source for Pipestream and the data destination is BigQuery. Now you may ask, why only BigQuery? Well, there are a lot of other data warehouses as well. For the timing, for the version 1.0 for Pipestream, we have enabled BigQuery as one of the data warehouses, but on enterprise versions, we can definitely go beyond that, like Amazon Redshift or Azure Blob and the like. In terms of access, the Pipestream would basically ask for a read and analyze access of your Google Analytics, where it's not going to edit anything, it's just going to read certain set of profile data. If your Google Analytics is tagged via Google Tag Manager, which is a tagging solution, we'll need publish access. And if and the BigQuery, where the data is going to get stored, we will need a dataset editor access. Now, this BigQuery is actually your BigQuery or your data warehouse or your cloud. It is not Pipestream's cloud. So basically, all your data is safe in your Google Analytics on your website and gets packed or stored into your BigQuery again. So your data is safe with you. So how does Pipestream store data in BigQuery? It's actually boring tables that you can see, right? it's normal as a BigQuery schema, like client ID, visit ID, what time did the user visited, what are the events, and what was the event time when the user did a particular event, and all the other attributes like the device category, the source medium, the city, the region where the user had landed on your website or was doing all these events. That data gets stored into BigQuery in form of a table where you can basically deploy your web analysts or a SQL analyst to basically start writing queries on top of them to make it in form of a BI engine. So now that we talked about why real-time data is important, how Pipestream data allows you to collect and analyze that real-time data, how can you use Pipestream for your use cases, like as a marketing team or a product team? For a product team, what we have seen at Tatvic, our team uses basically these 4 use cases that we have defined and activated using Pipestream. We'll talk about a couple of them here. Real-time remarketing. Obviously, we don't have to discuss it further. It's just that it's so important that when the user is still on the website, if there is a way that I can do certain analysis on that user and send the user a particular pop-up or a personalized banner based on whatever the user had interacted during the session, then it's a gold mine for the advertiser, right? In case the user leaves the website, then the advertiser has to pay for multiple CPC ads or YouTube ads or video ads and persuade them to come back, which is a very fairly costly affair. But if there is a possibility that, or if there is an availability of data for the user, for the advertiser to basically do real-time remarketing in before the user jumps off the website, then the best. Lead scoring. Yes, if you're in a financial services domain, or if you are doing selling real estate, or if you are in an edtech business where you are collecting a lot of leads, and then your call center team starts calling those leads, right, based on whatever rules that you have set, you would ideally want the call center to have the data available to them in almost real time. And what data? The data is based on the lead propensity to purchase a particular service or a particular product on your website, right? Now, if that data is available to you in real time, you can create machine learning models and you can run this lead scoring propensity model to generate that high qualified leads and push it to call center where they can prioritize the calling center efforts. In turn, they will decrease the time to convert and increase the business impact. Advanced user segments. This is something that a lot of marketing teams generally come up with these requirements, that they want additional and quicker way of creating user segments and using it for their remarketing purpose. Like in Display and Video 360, there is a feature which is a Google's demand side platform. You can run campaigns for users who are there on the website in less than let's say 5 minutes, as less as that, right? So if those user segments can be created in a shorter period of time, and you can push them to an ad tool where you can run these campaigns, it would be the best for any advertiser, right? So this segments attributes like based on demographics, based on device categories, based on any other custom factors like average order value, or whether the user had done an add to cart event or not. All those segmentations can also be done on basis the real-time data and the raw data, because there is no sampling problem which you face here. One last big use case where we see on campaign performance dashboards. Like I was telling before, as an example, we were talking about a booking company advertiser who sells hotel rooms. They would want to have more control on the data of their campaign performance as soon as the campaign starts running or gets launched, right? They want to look at the quality of the traffic that is coming from the paid campaigns, if they want to change the bid strategies, if they want to make additional changes on the creatives, they would want to do in almost real time. And this real time data will only be available if you have something like Pipestream in place. Yeah.
Awesome. So there is no doubt, Bismayy, that Pipestream is really useful when it comes down to all the marketing use cases that you just kind of narrated. However, can you throw some lights on how Pipestream could really help my product management colleagues, and how can they leverage its usefulness in entirety?
Yes, Kaushal. As a product manager myself, I love Pipestream because I have seen three major advantages or three major unique features or use cases that I've already worked on. The first one is product analytics. Since I need to sift through tons of data to ensure that whatever next feature of my product on my website is going live in the next sprint, I need to have real-time data on once the feature is launched. It's be it a payment page, be it my landing page, be it my particular product video. I want to have real-time data of this analytics and insights on all these pages in less as fast as I can. Anomaly detection, this is really important, where we were talking about 404 errors, landing page errors, payment page errors, form field errors, right? So at this point in time, if we are looking at, let's say, 2% error, it actually does not seem a lot. But let's say there is a 100K user base and 2% of them result in payment 404 errors. That's a huge business impact for me, right? So as a product manager, I would want to be top on the top of the curve, where I have the data available to me so that I can push my developers to ensure that that issue gets resolved in lesser time, minimalizing the business impact or losses that could have been caused. One big question, like if there is a marketer who does a lot of remarketing, why can't a product manager do a lot of personalization? We talk about conversion rate optimization, A/B testing, personalization experiments, but this can only be done via automation tools where they have sufficient data available in unsampled and real-time manner. Only if the customer is still on the website, I can change a lot of options on the website, just enough to persuade that user to do a high value transaction or an event on my website, like a form submit or a PDF download, right? So either an exit intent banner or a pop-off or a website notification, all kinds of tactics that I can do in order to personalize the experience before the user leaves the or bounces off from my website. So we understood what are the use cases as a product manager or a marketing manager. What are the major advantages that we can see? Unsampled data at a nominal cost. Now, why nominal cost? If you look at any of the analytics platform like Google Analytics or Adobe Analytics, and if you're going for an enterprise version, it's a heavy cost that you're going to incur for getting access to near to real-time data or maybe unsampled raw data. But let me say, with Pipestream, you're going to give 1/10 of that cost. Why? Because Pipestream is it's basically duplicating or replicating the hits that were supposed to be sent into Google BigQuery by pushing everything through Pipestream and creating our own data warehouse with very limited Google Cloud platform costs. And you are getting raw data, unsampled data. There is no sampling that you see on in Pipestream. It can be data of all the users across domains that you are looking at, all your properties of Google Analytics that you might have tagged, all your websites and subdomains. Advanced applications, I think we were talking about some of them, like right from personalization to customer segmentation to predictive lead scoring to anomaly detection and much more. All of this needs, or we can harness the power of real-time data. Now, this advanced applications can be innumerable. One, I can definitely mention that we can think about a content recommendation engine or a product recommendation engine if real-time data is available to us in BigQuery, where I can do all kinds of models and then push that experience back to my website or my app, right? Big one, easy integration, zero maintenance. no low code actually, if not no code. There is just a few clicks that you have to do and you're all set. You integrate all your data that you're collecting on your website into Google Analytics. You can basically duplicate that and push it into through Pipestream into BigQuery. Your dependence on engineering teams is very less, and there is hardly any maintenance that you need to have, because Pipestream team is there for you to kind of take care of that. Unlimited parameters. Now, if you're an enterprise website where you want to store a lot of user related data, product related data, there are tools like Google Analytics who can offer until 20 parameters only. Now, what about the other, user defined parameters or variables that you wanted to collect? You cannot do that until you upgrade into a premium version. That's where Pipestream comes into rescue, where you can store and collect more than 20 parameters. Actually, it's unlimited at this point in time, and you can allows you more control over how you want to collect that data. So no code, no extra resources required. It's basically a DIY solution, simple, and you can just set up and run by yourself. As simple as that.
Wow. So hardly any code management or significant developer dependency, right? That's like an icing on cake for marketeers and product managers. But do you have any success stories or customers where you have implemented Pipestream successfully, Bismayy? If you could narrate some of those.
Yes, Kaushal. I would directly jump into one of the success stories. This is a company in the recruitment industry where the challenge was they wanted to track and analyze business metrics in real time. Remember, I was talking about dashboarding of performance dashboards, right? And they wanted this data in almost real time. So we deployed Pipestream for them. Obviously, the ecosystem was cloud and Google Analytics and Pipestream as our product. Post deployment, those raw data that they wanted to send, all the pages of that particular domain, which they wanted to track in real time, those data points were available to them in BigQuery. And they had also another data warehouse where we were able to send that data as a custom implementation for them with BigQuery and the data warehouse. What was the impact? Now, the product manager in the recruitment and that company, they have full ownership and they have full control of the data. And obviously, that's it hardly cost them. It's, I think, even less than $100 or $200 a month that they're incurring at this point in time for the entire website data dump that they need to do this tracking and analyzing of the KPI metrics that they're looking at. Last, we want to continue with another success story. This success story is about in the financial services industry. Now, they had a very interesting challenge. They wanted that while the user was still on the website, based on the location of that user that they were collecting, could they personalize the banners before the user could leave the website, right? In terms of the language of the banner could be changed to, let's say, a particular domain language or a regional language, which the user would be more persuaded in order to continue the path or the conversion path. So we deployed Pipestream. Obviously, we made them user level data available to them within 60 seconds. Now they could analyze that. They were able to segment that basis the location that they wanted to do, along with the real-time location data that was available to them. And accordingly, the impact was really amazing. All the web banners that they put up, those click-through rates went up by 120% through this personalization. And there was actually an impact on the number of leads that they were collecting. It went up by around 27% as well, right? So there you can see how real-time data that you need access to, which you can use it for your further analytics exercises, and then end of the day do an activation of by a personalized banner, right? So time for a live demo, I think.
Yeah. But before, so let me assure you all, in fact, before Bismayy takes us through or gives us his walkthrough on the Pipestream. I can tell you, even a non-person or completely non-technical person like me, I could configure Pipestream completely on my own without, or rather, a very minimal help from the team. Moreover, I just had one question before Bismayy, you start. Can I actually see or access the raw data in less than 1 hour? Is it possible?
Yes, Kaushal, definitely. And I think let's see how let's prove Kaushal right by showing how Kaushal, as a non-technical and is a VP of marketing, who can basically run this through or implement it for the website if they really want to do it today. Yeah, I'll just click on the link and I'll go to the demo. Awesome. So this is how the dashboard looks like. Obviously, it's a very frugal dashboard that we have currently created, but it makes the job done. Trust me, guys. Once you log into this particular tool, you have pipelines and you can create anomalies, and there is standard documentation in place. And that's as simple as that, right? So today we'll just configure a new pipeline, and you can actually put a stopwatch and see if it takes more than 5 minutes or not. Yeah.
And I'll start having my coffee.
Okay. Right. So I clicked on configure new pipeline. Now, just a prerequisite is that if it is a possibility that the email ID that you have logged into the particular product, they are authorized with Google Analytics, or which means that you already have an access to the Google Analytics account or the view or the profile. If you remember, there is Google Analytics a structure which is account, property, and view. So if you have access to that account and profile, it makes life simpler for you. Otherwise, if you don't have, then you can also have the option to authorize a new account. Okay, so right now I do have access, so I'll just click on this. It will fetch all the data that I need in terms of the views that I have access to. For the time being, let's say we take something like backup view. Okay, so that's a profile or a view that I want access to. Now at the back end, it basically checks whether we have sufficient data and available for us that we can get started on creating that pipeline. I click continue. The second step out of the 4-step process is excluding referrals. Now, what is this and why is this important? If you are, let's say, if you want to actually exclude the referrals from your internal domains, like a cross domain or your subdomain, that you want to exclude that traffic to be reported into your BigQuery, just like you do it in Google Analytics, or even let's say a payment domain, right? That you want to stop adding that extra traffic, which is actually not the right traffic, right, or the true traffic. So you can do so. For the timing, I'll just use, let's say, accounts.google.com. Sorry, google.com. Okay, and let's say I will just do pipestream.tatvic.com, which is the marketing landing page for this particular product. So I want to exclude anybody who's coming from this particular users base into that domain, right? Now the third step is about the data destination. Now that we have configured the data source and we have put a filter on the data source, what we want to collect, we have to just mention what is the data source. Again, if your email ID already has an editor access, then it makes life simpler for you. If you do not, then you can always authorize the new account. You can click on this and you can do so. For the time being, I already have access, so I'll just continue that. It will go back to BigQuery. It will try to find out all the projects that I have access to. For the time being, let me select Pipestream, which is one of the projects that we have created for all our demo purpose, and the data set. Now this data sets, they're already available in BigQuery, where I have created, recently I created a BM webinar test just for a testing purpose, or we can always create a new data set. Let's say I create a new data set. I just type something like BM Pipestream test. Okay. And you can change the location of the BigQuery project, data set that you want to store. Okay, I'll keep United States for now for timing, and I submit. It will validate all the configurations that you have put, and it's done. Now I move to the last slide, which is actually nothing but just adding a title to the pipeline, which ensures that this pipeline is different than all the rest of the pipelines that you have created. So I'll just put again maybe the same BM webinar, BM Pipestream webinar, right? And save pipeline. Okay, we'll just it's in just a minute. We'll wait for a minute. Voila, that's it. Those are the only steps that you needed to do to ensure that your pipeline gets started or gets connected or configured, right? If you can see, there is a card that opens up. There are multiple other listings that I have, which you can check as well, right? For the timing, this is the new pipeline that we have created where we have the data source. I have the option even to configure anomaly. What is the destination of that particular data source or the data that is going to fed into, which is like BM pipe stream test, right? And the timeline. If you can see, there is a basically a processing icon which says that pipeline is being activated, please wait. Now this takes about a period of 3 to 5 minutes where it sets up all the cloud resources that ensures that your data is scalably and secure in a secure manner available to your BigQuery as soon as the pipeline is activated, right? So there's a whole lot of messy work that is going beyond, so nothing to worry about as we have taken care of that. While this is getting activated, let me show you something interesting, right? So this is a demo that we have created. Now, like I said, this is not a UI which is available to everybody, but if you want to test if you are actually, how does Pipestream stores data or collects data, you can do so. Now, what is client ID? It's basically your cookie ID of your browser, which is uniquely identifies you for that particular browser, right? So let's say I am on Tatvic website and I click on Google Marketing Platform, and let's say Google Analytics 360, right? And I do a scroll. I do value propositions. I look at service offerings. Maybe I do a GS standard versus a comparison, and so on and so forth. Whatever events that I want to do, that I can do it on my website. Let's come back here and just click submit. This is my cookie ID that I have stored, which is there on the website. You can collect that data as well, and you can store that, right? Now let's see, in almost real time, is the data available to me for this particular client ID, right? So if you see here, the session ID has come up and the location is Ahmedabad, Gujarat, India. That is where I'm actually giving the webinar from. I have come from a direct medium. The source medium is direct none. There is no campaign. There's no referral path, right? All the list of events that I have done have been captured here. Page path was home page. The category that I did was navigation menu. There was a click action on solution/Google Marketing Platform, right? As you move down, you see that Google Analytics 360 is where I had actually clicked, and that resulted in a new page view, which was data analytics solution/Google Analytics 360, right? And all of this in matter of seconds. Like I did it in 21:09:38, and that data is actually available to you in BigQuery at 21:09. That is like in less than even a minute, right? Even the scrolls that I did, 25% scroll, 50% scroll, 75% scroll, all of these events that I'm tracking or that I want to track on my website are basically getting captured in almost real time and being pushed into BigQuery, right? Interesting, isn't it? Right? All the data points like page view, event, everything. Okay. So I will just go back. I'll just sign in with my Google. And how does the data looks like? right? While I'm getting logged in, I'll just showcase how does the data looks like. So in BigQuery, basically the data of this project lands up here, and you have the schema that we were talking about, like starting from client ID to all the identifiers that I need, and what are the typical dimensions, metrics, the device, the source mediums, and whether I did a particular event action or not. All those data points get stored in BigQuery in real time, right? And if I preview that, you can see the whole list of data set that I need if I wanted to do an analysis or segmentation of this particular data that I have available to. Yes, if I come back to the pipeline, if my product, I see that there is a green signal or symbol there which says that my pipeline is now activated. Okay, so that's it. Like it was like a 2-minute, 3-minute job that we had to do, and obviously Kaushal can do it himself without anybody's help, even my help, right? Last, there is one little thing that we need to do, which is there is a JS icon, which is a JavaScript code. This is the core of the particular pipeline, which needs to be placed on your SDK or on your website by the help of your developer. So this is like a one section document which they can go through, and there is an implementation code which is available here. You can just copy this code and you can send it to the developer, and they can do it in less than a minute or 5 minutes or so. If you already have provided Pipestream access to Google Tag Manager, actually we can also automate that process for you, right? Interesting, right? Okay. There is other module which talks about where you can configure your anomaly. That is something that we'll like to talk about during our next session, next webinar session. For the timing, this is how you can activate pipelines. You can also click them if you want to deactivate that particular pipeline, so stop sending data. And this data is available within minutes, and this pipeline can be activated, as you saw, in less than 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah, going back, so there are a lot of screenshots that we have attached for anybody to refer to after the webinar, right? The step 1, what needs to be done, step 2, step 3, and basically step 4, where you create the pipeline and save it, and the whole list of status that is available to you, where if you want to create a new pipeline, if there is a green dot, whether it's activated or not, whether you want to deactivate, and the like. The entire implementation guide is also available to you. You just need to click on the JS button, and it's a step-by-step process which you can ensure that it gets deployed on through your GTM or on directly on the website code, and that's much about it. Yeah, so this is it from Bismayy on Pipestream's working demo, and how you can use Pipestream for multiple use cases if you're a marketer or if you're a product manager, right? Yes, I think over to you, Kaushal.
Bismayy, I would still, okay. By the way, that was super fast. As I said, I just started having my cup of coffee when you started demo, and I couldn't complete the cup of
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So for all of you, that's it from our end. If you guys any questions, if you could just list out them over the question window, that would be great. I could see few people have already raised hands. Let me check. As I said it before, you can continue to engage with us even on LinkedIn platform as well. Yes, Bismayy. So I know we are almost over an hour. We've shoot our time, but one very quick question which has come, and of course we would reach out to each and every one of you post webinar to address your specific queries. One question: how many pipelines can one create using Pipestream? That's the question I can see here.
Okay. Yeah. So if there is a trial version, obviously one pipeline. But if you have taken the paid version of it, I think you can create unlimited pipelines, and every pipeline can be a separate configuration for your Google Analytics properties, or it can be a combination of your websites. So yes, there is no limit as such.
Excellent. And Bismayy, if you could just roll on to another slide. While I can see a few more questions, however, we would definitely address them when we would reach out to each and one of you personally. As you can see, we have just highlighted a few numbers here. So to all you product champs and marketeers, you can definitely avail 30-day free trial of the Pipestream that we just demoed. We are also inviting a lot of product managers and marketeers to even review and experience Pipestream like hands-on, really. And we would definitely welcome opportunities to engage with you on this. With this, I wish all of you an amazing day ahead, and then, of course, a great weekend after tomorrow, for sure. Here are our numbers in case if you want us to reach out. You can also give us a ping on hello@tatvic.com. That's again, hello@tatvic.com, and we would love to hear from you. Thank you once again for your time and wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Kaushal, for the time.
Thanks, everyone.